Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. We're here, ready to a new live session. I'm sorry for the people who usually comes here to study IB with me, but today we're going just to talk or to do a brief review of integers and fractions. I'm just going to show some ideas on some structure about integers, then some ideas about fractions and solve some exercises. So we can start by doing this process of applying mathematical rules correctly or understanding mathematical rules correctly. And we're gonna start with integers. We're gonna start by analyzing integers on a number line. That this is something that you can see in some of my videos. My latest videos are about integers, but I would like to be more clear about some ideas, or specifically the ideas of addition and so every time. So we're going to start with this idea. Now you can see. So imagine that you have a number line and you're going to apply integers or addition or subtraction of integers. And as what I suggest you is to imagine that any integer could be seen like an arrow whose length or absolute value, the length of the arrow, is going to be the number. So for example, if I tell you positive 2, so you imagine an arrow that goes from 0 to 2 because it measures 2 and ends at 2. But this arrow can be moved at any other place of my number line. This arrow that I'm going to select here can be moved to any place of the number line in the place that I need it. So I can put it here, I can put it here, I can put it here, and it's still going to be a 2. Okay? And when it works this, or what this is good to see, because if you're going to add numbers, let's see that I'm going to add 2 with negative 3. So the addition of integers is just like you're going to put your arrow, one arrow next to the other. And in this way, you can see the answer. So for example, in this case, if I have 2 plus negative 3, 2 plus negative 3 is going to give me this number that is here. Now, I know that this number is negative because it goes back, and the number that completes like equality, 2 and 1 is 3, so it's going to be negative 1. So in this way, you can observe that the addition 2 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 1. But however, but you can also understand that adding the negative is the same as subtracting a positive number. So 2 minus 3 is going to be negative 1. So, and here is when you can avoid the fact of thinking if it's subtracting or if it's negative. Both are the same idea. Subtracting is the same as adding a negative. So in this case, as addition is commutative, 2 plus negative 3 is going to be the same as negative 3 plus 2. But you can understanding immediately here as well. Okay? Because you can move the term with its sign. So this is like the first idea that I think that it's very important to understand about integers. And every time you're going to do an operation of integers, what I suggest you is to imagine these arrows. Because sometimes we're not going to do a number line, but we can imagine what happened with these arrows. If I do, for example, let's say that you have to work out negative 652 plus 391. And I want to know if it's positive or negative. I haven't reached to the general idea that I put in one of my videos. But let's say that you haven't reached to the general idea, or if you don't understand the general idea. So you can imagine negative 652 like an arrow. And then I'm going to add 392. So I'm going to put at the end of my arrow 652. Look at that the absolute value of 652 is greater than 391. So my arrow of 391 is going to be shorter than 652. And the number that I need to find in this case is going to be negative. Negative. So it's going to be negative. So it's going to be a negative number. And it's going to be the number that goes here. That essentially is going to be just the subtraction of 652 and 391. So this is how you can understand or find out the idea. So let's say that in this case, what you're going to do is to subtract 652 with 391, and the answer is going to be negative. Okay, so this is how you can observe how things change when you imagine the arrows. So you imagine the arrows, you can see how is the sign of the number of the answer and what is the operation you have to perform, if it's a subtraction of the absolute values or it's an addition of the absolute values. This is something that I feel that it's going to help you with the structure of how to work out operations with integers. I'm just going to do the operation. Remember that I love to do vertical subtraction, so I'm just going to rewrite this as negative 600 plus 300 minus 50 plus 90 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, so this is the way I do it. You can do it using columns form. It's okay. There's no problem. Negative 60 plus 300 is negative 300. Minus 50 plus 90 is plus 40. Minus 2 plus 1 is negative 1. So 300 minus 300 plus 40. So let's say that I'm going to do my arrows. So negative 300 plus 40. It's going to give me this number that is negative, and is negative 260, right? 60 plus 40 is 300. So I'm going to put negative 260 minus 1. So the answer is negative 261. Now, this is something that I do it in this form. Maybe you do it in column form and it's going to be faster. It's okay for you. So you don't have to do everything that I do. But this is the main idea of working with integers, especially when you're subtracting or adding integers. Remember that now we said adding integers. Now you don't need to tell anymore that you're going to multiply, to add and subtract integers. You can just say adding integers, because inside the addition of integers is the subtraction of integers, because adding the negative is subtracting the positive. Okay, so this is the first thing I want you to clarify about integers, and the first thing that you can work out about integers, that it's going to be about how to review the process of integers, and then you can see what happens if you add a negative integers with a positive integer, when it's going to be negative, when it's going to be positive, what happens if you add two negative integers, what would be if it's negative or positive. So I let you for you to write in the comments your conclusions about all this topic, okay, about integers. Now I would like to go to work out on some exercises of fractions, because this live session is going to be short, but I want to work out on fractions. Now, to work out on fractions, I'm going to move my board here. And we're going to see some questions about fractions, okay? Working on fractions, first thing that you need to understand about fractions is that fractions is just a division. It's the way that you can represent a division. So every time you see a fraction, a numerator over a denominator, so what we're doing is just calculating a division, okay? So it's a division. It's a way to represent a division. When you represent fractions on a number line, you're working on a division. When you're trying to organize numbers, you're trying with divisions. And division may have a remainder, couldn't have a remainder, or that stuff. So we're going to start by observing what happened when we use the mixed number notation. And I'm going to put one question that it's about comparing numbers. That it's about comparing fractions, and we're going to work out on this idea. Let's say that I have these two rational numbers, these two fractions, 3 and 1/7. Just remember that when you use mixed notation, this 3 and 1/7 is just a way to, or a shorter way to represent 3 plus 1/7, okay? This is very important that we got it in your mind. It's important that you always keep in mind that 3 and 1/7 is just talking about 3 plus 1/7. This is like the first thing that you need to verify and remember when you have mixed numbers. And here I have 44 and 14 and 3 and 1/7, and I want to know which one is greater. Now, the key rule, or what I suggest you always to do with any fraction when you're working out with fractions, is to simplify the fractions the most you can first. So I'm going to simplify this fraction, 44 over 14. And remember that to simplify fractions, you just need to divide by a common factor. In this case, the common factor between 44 and 14 is 2. So I'm just going to divide both by 2. So 44 divided by 2 is 22, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. Okay? Now, I got that 3 and 1/7 is 22 over 7. Now, I need to convert or either this mixed number into fraction or this fraction into mixed number. So I'm going to do both so we can remember how you can convert fractions to mixed number or mixed numbers to fractions. Now, how to convert 22 over 7 as mixed number? Now, just remember that the fraction, this fraction is an addition. This is 3 plus 1/7. So I can rewrite this fraction, 22 over 7, by using a multiple of 7 that is close to 22, and in this way I can rewrite it as a mixed number. So for example, in this case, 22 over 7, I could write it as 21 over 7 plus 1 over 7. 21 plus 1 is 22. So 21 divided by 7 is going to be 3 plus 1/7. So essentially, what I got here is that 22 over 7 is 3 wholes and 1/7. So it's going to be equal. Okay, this is something that you need to remember every time that you work out with fractions and you want it as a mixed number. This is the main idea that I want that you try. Now, some people use division to find 22 over 7. That it's okay. 22 over 7, so you perform the division. So you work out 7. So I know that 7 fits 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. So I can simplify. 22 minus 1 is 1. And I have 3 wholes. 3 wholes. Remember that the answer is whole. And I have 1 as the remainder. So the remainder is 1 over 7. So this is the idea of the structure of working out mixed fractions as mixed numbers. Now, on the other side, let's say that I want to convert these 3 and 1/7 into fraction. I need it as a fraction. Now, when we need to convert mixed numbers into fractions, especially when you're multiplying or dividing fractions, because when you add or subtract fractions, it's better to use mixed numbers, okay? It's better to use the mixed numbers. We're going to see it in a minute. Now, so 3 and 1/7, I want 3 and 1/7 as a fraction, but I know that 3 and 1/7 is 3 plus 1/7. So I just need to perform this addition. But 3, I need to rewrite 3 as a division. This is why it's very important that you have clear that we need to convert, that a fraction is a division. Because in this case, we need to convert 3 as a division by 7. So you need to get 3 a whole 3, the whole number 3, as a number that is divided by 7 and gives you 3. Okay, so this is the idea that you need to have always in your mind. Now, what's the deal? So the deal is simple. 3 times 7 is 21, so I just need to put 21 over 7 plus 1 over 7, and I just need to add these fractions. Look at that, I just get here. So 22 over 7. You see? Now, I know that there's a strategies to convert fractions to mixed numbers like multiplying, but you memorize the strategy when you understand this. Okay? I know that the strategy is to multiply 7. I usually do this. That is 7 times plus 7 times 3, 21 plus 1, 22, and I put 22 over 7. This is like the mnemotechnic way to learn it. But understand that what you're doing is just this addition. You're doing this addition. This is what you're doing. And as you're doing this addition, so now you can get more information about how to do the mnemotechnic idea. And you don't need to you memorize the mnemotechnic idea because you understand how to do it. And if you understand how to do it, then you can be flexible. That is important. Now we're going to move to the second part. What is the second part? What happens if I want to, let's say that I want to multiply, you need to add mixed numbers, but sometimes it's not feasible to convert the mixed number into fraction. Okay? Or it's not the best idea. Many people use the strategy of convert it into fractions so you can get the answer, but sometimes it's not a good idea. Sometimes it's not the best way. I'm gonna put one example. Of addition of mixed numbers that we can work on. Now, because some people tell me like, but this is a subtraction. Remember that subtracting the positive is the same as adding the negative. So I can see this mixed number as plus, minus, 4 and 5/8. Okay? Now, what you just need to do, you need to, instead of I'm going to convert these fractions, these mixed numbers into fractions, so then I can simplify them. That sometimes is okay. I'm going to show you an example in which, it's better not to do it. But now just remember that a mixed number is just adding the fraction. And here is negative, so it means that this is minus. So what I'm going to do is just separate integers and fractions. So I'm going to do it. 3 minus 4. Let's go back to the integers part. Let's say that I'm learning integers, so I need to remember what to do. So I can put the 3, my arrow that represents 3, and now right next to my arrow that represents 3, my arrow that represents -4. So I need to find this number that in this case is going to be -1. You see? You see that the distance from here to here is -4. So the whole distance needs to be 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay, so the answer is -4. -4. And here 1/8 minus 5/8. So let's say that I'm going to do the same. I need to learn. I don't remember how to do it. So I can put 1/8. As the denominator is common, I just need to put -5/8. And this is the answer. What would be this number? So this number is going to be -4x. Minus 4/8. Now remember that you always need to simplify your fractions. So simplify your fractions. Remember, simplify your fractions. Divide by common factors. In this case, the common factor is going to be 4, right? So you can divide by 4. I'm going to avoid putting what I'm dividing to. So I got minus 1/2. So I'm going to get minus 4 minus 1/2. As both have the same sign, I can write it as minus 4 and 1/2. This is how you can work out with your addition and subtraction of fractions or mixed numbers in this case. So we're going to separate wholes with wholes or integers with integers and fractions with fractions to perform the operations. Now, let's see that you say, but okay, but I can do it converting I can do it converted into a fraction, and it's going to be simpler. So no, sometimes it's not. Let's see if I can erase this. Let's see if I can erase it. I couldn't erase it. Okay, so let's move on. So let's say that now I'm going to add these two mixed numbers. Let's say that I have 359 and 1/4 plus 492 and 4/5. Now, as you can see here, if I try to convert these mixed numbers into fractions, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be larger, maybe exhausted. So this is why it's better to do 359 plus 492 plus 1/4 plus 4/5. Now remember that if you want to add fractions, you need a common denominator. So you need to find out, it's better if you find out the LCM between 4 and 5. So I'm going to find the LCM of 4 and 5. That is going to be, in this case, 20. So I need to multiply by 4 here and by 5 here. Okay, not multiply. Amplify by 4 and amplify by 5. So I can perform the addition. Let's add these two. 400 plus 300, 700. 750 plus 90 is 140. So it's 840. 9 and 2 is 11. So it's 851. 851, right? Let me do it again. 400 and 700, 700. 700 plus 140 plus 11. 700 plus 140 is 840 plus 11. 851. Yeah, correct. Plus 4/20 plus I'm sorry, I made a mistake here, right? Because I multiply wrong. I need to multiply by 5 here and by 4 here, because I need a common denominator 20, right? So times 4 times 4. Yeah, again, I'm sorry. Times 5 times 5 times 4 times 4. Okay, so I'm gonna get 5/20 plus 16/20. 16 plus 5 is going to be 21. Uh, 21/20. This is very wrong. 21 over 20. Let me erase this 8. Okay, 21 over 20. And here is the catch. It happens that 21 over 20 is a mixed number, right? So I need to convert it as a mixed number. But I can do it mentally, but I want to show the strategy that I use. That is 21 over 20 is just 20 over 20, a multiple of 20 plus 1 over 20. So 20 over 20 is 1. This is going to be 1 whole and 1/20. So my answer is going to be, I just need to add 1 whole to 851. So I'm going to put 852 and 1/20. And this is how you can perform the addition of integers. This is how you can work out with different fractions, adding mixed numbers, and working out with integers. And this is it. This is like this session of today. The session of today was just half an hour. I just want you to remember some ideas about mixed numbers, about how to add fractions. I would like to work out on multiplication and division of fractions, but it was not, the time given was not enough, but it's okay. Next time maybe I'll try to work out on some operations with fractions in this way. And remember that in this term, so the idea is to work on these two parts, integers and mixed numbers in this case, or fractions or rationals if you want to see them as number set, rationals. And this is up for today. I hope that this session helps you to clarify some ideas of integers. I hope that this session helps you to clarify some ideas about mixed numbers, how to add them, how to subtract them, and see you in the future videos. Let me know if there are any questions or comments so we can work out more about these topics. See you. Bye bye. Enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and have a nice and excellent week learning mathematics. Bye bye. Bye bye.